the accidental pop. Let me tell you a secret. No one grows up dreaming of becoming Pope. I certainly didn't. I was just Father Leo, a simple priest from Queens, New York. And on the day history says heaven chose me, I was doing something much less holy. I was grilling sausages for St. Lawrence, patron saint of cooks. I thought I was preparing lunch. Apparently, God thought I was preparing for something else. One spark, one burst of white smoke, and suddenly, the Vatican bells began to ring. People started crying. The Swiss guards started running. Television cameras appeared from nowhere. Someone shouted, "Habemus Papam!" I shouted back, "No! It's only lunch!" Nobody listened. A guard handed me a white cassock. Another adjusted a mitre on my head. Before I understood what was happening, I was standing on the balcony. Looking over thousands of smiling faces, I smelled like olive oil, barbecue sauce, and complete confusion. So, I waved, I whispered, "Buonasera." And the whole world cheered. That was the day I learned. God sometimes writes his greatest miracles with the strangest handwriting. After all, he once spoke through a burning bush. Why couldn't he speak through a burning sausage? So this is my story. Not the story of a perfect pope,
but of an ordinary man,
but of an ordinary man
who discovered
that heaven sometimes calls us
when we're least prepared.
Welcome to the most unexpected journey of my life. I was only a priest for 2 years when they sent me to New York City. They said it was pastoral support, urban engagement, a mission. But between you and me, I think it was because I kept quoting Bruce Springsteen during homily. So there I was, Father Leo Martínez, standing in front of St. Martha's Parish with a suitcase in one hand and a hot dog in the other. The buildings were taller than my theology books. The taxis screamed like angry prophets, and I whispered, "I'm not in Kansas anymore." Then I remembered, I had never been in Kansas, but still, on my first day off, I tucked in my collar, unbuttoned the black shirt, put on sneakers, and called it mission casual. Times Square found me first. Spider-Man asked for a picture. A break dancer asked for a blessing. While upside down, and somehow, I ended up in a Broadway audition line, where a woman looked at me and said, "Your energy is giving hipster profit." I said, "Blessed are the misunderstood." She gave me a script in Soho. They asked if I was a philosophy influencer. I said, "No, more like a parable enthusiast." By nightfall, I had joined a drum circle in Central Park, lost the rhythm completely, and accidentally started a slow chant of amen. The strange thing is, people followed. That was New York. Nobody knew what you were doing. But if you did it with enough confidence, they joined in. Then came the comedy club. The man on stage pointed at me and said, "Hey, Father, are you here to bless us or judge us?" And I stood up and said, "Depends on the drink menu." The crowd exploded for the first time. I understood something holy. Laughter could open a door that fear kept locked by the end of the week. I had skateboarded in Brooklyn, sang karaoke in Spanish Harlem,
and became a TikTok meme called Priest on the Loose. But underneath the jokes, under the noise, under the city lights, there was something else. Silence. And silence scared me. Because silence always felt like the moment before God decided to speak or not. So I made people laugh. I filled the room. I kept moving because I didn't know yet that one day the whole world would be watching me, waiting for my voice from a balcony in Rome, and all I would have left was silence and God.
It all started with cheesecake. Not money, not power, not even temptation. Cheesecake. I was walking through Midtown after morning mass when I saw it, smooth, creamy, covered in strawberries. Like it had been blessed by Italian grandmothers. I looked at heaven and whispered, I am but a man. So naturally, I went inside, coffee, jazz, peace, forgiveness, and exactly 3,000 calories. Then she walked in, red coat, dark sunglasses, the kind of confidence that could make a bishop check his hair. She smiled. Father Leo, my heart forgot its job. I'm Anna, she said. You blessed our office last week. I smiled. Well, at least somebody remembers my sermons. We talked 10 minutes, 20 minutes. Suddenly, it was lunch. Then my brain asked, wait, is this a date? Can a priest have coffee without accidentally inventing romance? Is it still evangelization if Jesus doesn't appear until the second cappuccino? That night, I stared at myself in the mirror. Relax, Leo. You didn't break any vows. You just shared cheesecake and dangerous amounts of eye contact. The next morning, my phone buzzed. Thanks for the laughs, Padre. Next time you bring the blessing. I smiled and answered,
only if you bring the cheesecake.
At confession, I cleared my throat. Forgive me, Father, for I may have emotionally mingled. There was silence. Then the priest laughed. In New York, that's practically missionary work. I walked away smiling, still wondering how I was supposed to preach about temptation without mentioning dessert. Dessert. Father Leo wasn't trying to go viral. He thought the microphone was off. Sunday morning at St. Martha's, tourists, locals, and two hungover souls trying to do one good thing. He looked at the pulpit, forgot the perfect sermon, and spoke from the heart. Jesus didn't stay locked in temples. He walked roads, he entered homes, he sat at tables. He turned water into wine at a party. If he came today, he might begin his ministry in a food truck. The church laughed, and somehow God laughed too. By Monday morning, 2 million views. Priest drops truth like communion wafers. The bishop called, Anna texted. The internet baptized him. Padre on fire. But fame is a strange altar. It makes you doubt your own voice that night. After 3 hours of confessions, Sister Beatrice sat beside him. You're not a celebrity, she said. You're a shepherd.
If the sheep post about you, fine, just don't sell merch. Leo sighed.
Too late.
They already made mugs.
Sheep paws.
Get me one in navy. And Father Leo smiled, still confused,
Still called.
still wondering how God
Could use cheesecake.
and an unmuted microphone to change a man's life.
It all began with an email. Subject:
Come preach on prime time.
I laughed. Spam. It wasn't. America wanted the trending priest, the walking gospel. Millions of people, one microphone, and somehow that frightened me more than Judgment Day. The bishop looked at me. Go. No politics.
No arguments.
And absolutely.
No dancing.
I nodded, then secretly searched.
Can priests dance on television?
The answer didn't help backstage. The lights were brighter than confession. Anna smiled, straightened my collar, looked at my white sneakers, and whispered.
Now you look human.
The host grinned.
So, you're food truck Jesus?
The audience laughed. He asked, do people confess in your TikTok comments? I smiled. Only if they use the crying emoji. The room exploded. We laughed. We talked about faith, about bread, about bakeries, about the little fig tree behind St. Martha's. Then everything became quiet. He looked at me and asked,
What's the hardest part about being the cool priest?
I stopped smiling because some questions deserve the truth.
The hardest part is not losing the real Leo inside all the noise.
This collar doesn't make me important.
It reminds me who I belong to.
And sometimes I forget. Silence. One clap, then another until the whole audience stood. That night I returned home. No cameras, no applause, just candles and a cross. I looked at Jesus and whispered,
I love you.
but sometimes I miss being just Leo. From the back, Sister Beatrice answered.
If you ever run away, leave me the keys to the Vespa.
I laughed, the kind of laugh that heals, because maybe I wasn't famous, maybe I wasn't extraordinary. I was simply a priest trying every single day to remember who called me first. It started with an envelope. No email, no text, just thick paper and the bishop's seal. I opened it with a butter knife. Never trust a Catholic letter that needs a knife. Formal review? Pastoral conduct? Representation of clerical identity? Translation? Too many laughs, too many cameras, too many sneakers, and maybe one hoodie too many. My heart didn't break, it folded that afternoon. Anna met me in Riverside Park. She brought cannoli, I brought bad news. She read the letter, looked at me and smiled.
They're upset.
Because you're human.
I laugh.
I'm upset because I'm human.
Then
For the first time, I stopped hiding.
I think about you.
More than I should.
I reread your messages.
I even told a nun, you smell like hope. She laughed softly.
And you told me I reminded you of a song.
I nodded, the one that says you are fearfully and wonderfully made. The city kept moving, but my world stood still. That night I knelt before the altar. No audience, no applause, just candles and silence. Lord, what if I want both?
The collar,
And the cannoli?
the mission, and the woman.
Can I love you without forgetting how to love? No thunder, no miracle, only silence.
and maybe
Silence was God's way of listening. The next morning, I lifted the host. Then a familiar perfume filled the church. Vanilla, flowers, Anna. For one heartbeat, my lips whispered, Body of Christ. But my heart said her name.
I close my eyes.
Not because I had stopped loving God, but because I remembered I was still a man that evening over coffee. Anna smiled.
What if God made us human before he made us holy?
I I looked at her and whispered,
Then why does holiness
sometimes feel.
so lonely?
She stood, buttoned her red coat, and smiled.
When saints get lost,
They don't panic
they walk.
until they remember.
Why they stay?
She disappeared into the New York night. I watched without moving, without calling her back, without running, only praying.
Forgive me, Lord, for wanting to be two people at once.
The next morning,
The telephone rang.
Rome was calling.
Was calling.
Pope Benedictus had been ill for months. Rome prayed softly. The bells rang longer, and every cardinal walked like silence. Had entered the room, he was wise, he was tired and near the end. Laughter became his favorite prayer. The church, he whispered, doesn't lack faith. It suffers from too much solemnity. One morning, he called Monsignor Bellini. Bring me someone. A cardinal, Holy Father? The Pope smiled. No, bring me a priest who can make me laugh. Bellini froze. Laugh? Yes, said the Pope. Eternity is long. I would rather arrive with a smile. Then the old Pope looked towards St. Peter's dome, golden in the sunset, and whispered, There's a priest in New York, Father Leo Martínez. They call him the friar priest. Bellini blinked. The friar priest. The Pope nodded. Exactly. That man has faith that burns even when he doesn't notice. Send for him. Tell him an old man needs to confess something before he laughs for the last time. It started with olive oil. Not prophecy, not thunder, not angels, olive oil. The Vatican courtyard was glowing gold. Sausages were sizzling, Swiss guards were grilling with more courage than culinary skill. And there I stood, Father Leo Martínez, apron crooked, faith strong, fire safety uncertain. Sister Beatrice looked at me. Father, are you sure you know what you're doing? I smiled. No. But I've survived youth ministry. How hard can a friar be? Then the friar coughed once, twice, and suddenly a tower of white smoke rose straight into the Roman sky. The bells began to ring, pilgrims screamed, cardinals pointed, someone shouted,
Habemus, Papam.
I shouted back,
No.
It's lunch. Nobody listened. Bellini came running. Father Martínez, the world thinks you are Pope. I looked at the friar. Heaven needs better ventilation. They pushed me toward the balcony. I was covered in foam, barbecue sauce, and regret. Just wave, Bellini whispered. Say something papal. So I stepped forward, looked at the crowd and said,
Buonasera.
The world cheered, and somewhere maybe heaven laughed that night, alone in a white room. I looked at my greasy hands and whispered, Lord, what are you doing? No thunder answered, no angel came, only silence. Then, far away, a soft laughter, like wind through olive trees. And I smiled, because if God could choose Moses through a burning bush, maybe, just maybe, he could call me through a flaming sausage. By sunset, Rome had headlines.
A miracle of smoke!
The Pope from the friar. Divine accident or destiny? Some called it absurd. Some called it prophecy. Some called it marketing. But for the first time in years, Rome laughed, not cruel laughter, healing laughter. The kind that reminds people They are still alive, and there I stood on the balcony, apron over papal white, foam in my hair, fear in my chest, and thousands cheering below. I looked up at the clouds. One looked suspiciously like a friar. I whispered, "Lord, if this was an accident, it is the most beautiful accident I have ever seen." By nightfall, the courtyard was clean. The grill was gone, the fryer dismantled, the ribs miraculously served for dinner. Sister Beatrice walked in. "So, you turned a barbecue into a beatification." I sighed. I was trying to make lunch. She smiled. "And now half of Rome thinks you're Pope." I rubbed my forehead.
I didn't even preheat.
"The papacy."
She poured coffee.
"If God wanted me to be Pope," I said,
He could have sent an email.
Beatrice patted my shoulder. "He did. You mistook it for a dinner invitation." Outside, the bells rang softly, almost playfully.
Like heaven itself.
Was laughing, and despite myself, I laughed too.
Habemus barbecue.
I whispered, "God help us all." The headline screamed, "Mysterious light in Vatican cellar. Miracle or malfunction?" I blinked. "They found the cellar?" Sister Beatrice smiled. Swiss guards reported divine humming and suspiciously cheerful clergy. Bellini groaned. That was us. Then the valet appeared. "Your Holiness, the choir is ready. Sunday Mass begins." I nodded, then froze. Wait, which bottle did they take for communion? Silence. Bellini whispered,
Not the glowing one.
I stood up. Oh, saints and spatulas.
The glowing one.
Inside St. Peter's, the basilica shone like morning gold. Incense floated, the choir sang, and I walked to the altar, staring at the chalice like it owed me answers. The priest beside me whispered, Holiness, is it glowing? I smiled. Yes, Father, it's been blessed twice. Then he tasted it. His eyes widened, his face lit up. This is magnificent! I can taste salvation! Suddenly, the choir rose higher. The organist started improvising. Nuns fainted in perfect synchronization. And everyone who received communion began to glow. Just a little by noon, the whole world was talking. Was trending back in the sacristy. We stood like schoolboys caught behind the chapel. Then the voice came, deep, warm, amused. My sons? I sighed. Again? Yes, Leo. Again. I said, moderation. I looked up. In our defense, Lord. We thought you meant last night. I meant always. Then softer. Next time. Serve grape juice. Leave the miracles to me. Later, I sat in the empty pews, still smiling. Beatrice said, you turned communion into a religious festival. I looked at the sunlight on the marble and whispered, maybe joy is contagious at the doorway. I looked up and said, all right, Lord, point taken. But you have to admit, it was a hell of a mass. A dove landed nearby and a whisper answered. Language, Leo. I grinned, sorry. The bells rang, the dove cooed, and the world kept laughing. By morning, the Vatican was trending in 50 countries. The wine that shined, miracle mass stuns Rome. Is God fermenting again? Pilgrims camped outside. Reporters filled the hall. Bellini was sweating like a sinner in July. Sister Beatrice sat beside him, holding a file called Miracle Management Plan. And me? I was late. I walked in,
Robes wrinkled,
Converse clean.
espresso in hand,
Buongiorno, everyone. Sorry I'm late.
traffic in heaven's inbox.
The room laughed, then came the questions. Did the wine glow?
Yes,
Did God speak?
twice.
What did he say? I smiled.
Moderation.
And maybe water. Then someone asked, will the Vatican bottle it?
Bellini nearly died.
Beatrice dropped her face into her hands. And before I could answer, the lights flickered, the microphones cracked, and the voice returned. Don't even think about it. The room froze. I looked up. Lord, is that you again? Of course it's me. Do I sound like PR? Then he said, no merchandising.
No wine label.
And next time, test the water first. The cameras flashed, the reporters gasped, and somehow the whole world prayed and laughed at the same time.
That night,
I sat on the balcony,
over Rome,
drinking chamomile tea, close enough to water.
Bellini asked,
Holiness.
do you realize what happened?
I nodded. God went viral. And this time, no smoke, just light. Well, I suppose this is where we say arrivederci. Not goodbye, just see you very soon. If you enjoyed today's adventure, leave me a comment below. Tell me, what trouble you think I'll get into next? Should I survive another miracle? Another press conference? Or maybe another divine misunderstanding? I'd love to read your ideas. Don't forget to subscribe, because our story is only beginning. Until next time, take care of one another.
Laugh a little more,
Forgive a little faster.
love a little deeper.
And remember, God sometimes speaks through the most unexpected moments. May the Lord bless you.
May he keep you safe.
May he watch over your family. And may he save our souls. I'll be back
Very soon,
very soon.
Buona Sera.
And God bless you all.